Here we're going to attempt to make Sabrett's onion sauce to go on hot dogs. So what I've got here is one large sweet onion. It's about 4 cups. And then I've got heating over here a tablespoon of olive oil. I couldn't decide whether to use olive oil or butter. So the first attempt I'm going to go with olive oil, because I like using olive oil when I make sausage and peppers, when I saute the onions and the peppers. So I'm going to go with olive oil for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these onions. These are just chopped. They're going to cook down to almost mush, so you don't have to do them very fine. So stir that in there good. Cook well with the olive oil. So I'm just going to cook these until they're kind of sweated. I don't think you want to caramelize them because I'm going to let this simmer for a while once I put the other ingredients in it. Just let that saute for a few minutes. And then to that, I'm going to use, I'm going to do some cornstarch like I do with the, like I make the Texas hot wiener sauce. So I'm going to dissolve some cornstarch in a little bit of water and then slowly add that toward the end. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of corn syrup. Now I couldn't decide whether to use corn syrup, sugar, or brown sugar. So in this attempt I'm going to go with the corn syrup. And then I'm going to add tomato paste. I'll start with about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Maybe add 3 if I need to. We're going to go with salt. Probably start out with about a teaspoon of kosher salt. And then we're going to add a couple of dashes of red pepper flakes, and then a 1/4 of a cup of white vinegar. So let's see how this goes. Okay, it's been a little over 5 minutes. So they're onions are nicely sweated, but they're not caramelized. Get a lot of that natural sugar out of there. Now I've decided to go with brown sugar on this instead of the corn syrup. Corn syrup just didn't sound like a good idea to me, so I decided to go with and this is a packed tablespoon of brown sugar. So I'm going to add that directly to the onions. Plus I think it'll add to the overall color to it as opposed to the white corn syrup. Okay, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. That's about a tablespoon, right? 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Can add some more later if I think it needs it. So I'm going to stir that in and kind of cook some of that raw taste out of the onion. Out of the tomato paste. Smells good already. Okay, and to this I'm going to add a teaspoon of kosher salt. There's a 1/2 teaspoon, and then there's another 1/2 teaspoon. We can always add more salt later if it tastes like it needs it, but it's always easier to add than it is to take out, so we'll start with that. Just cook that for a little bit longer, like I said, to kind of cook off some of that raw tomato paste flavor. add some crushed red pepper to this. Like I said, you can really probably do this however much you want. I'm just going to add a few shakes. There's about 4 shakes. That might be about 1/4 of a teaspoon. Because this isn't really that spicy. Okay. Now this, I'm going to add 3 cups of water. Yeah, I know that does seem like a lot, but that's what I found out. Because this is going to simmer for a while, and then we're going to add the cornstarch that'll thicken up. Because that's what I found out when I was making the hot wiener sauce. I originally started with 8 cups of water, and that was probably one of the best recipes. I eventually brought it down to 6 cups of water because it just took such a long time for it to reduce down from 8 cups. So I figured, let me try cutting it down to 6 and then reducing the cornstarch a little bit. So we'll let this go for a little while and see how it turns out. Just let it simmer for a while. See, just like the original Texas hot wiener sauce, it's really thin at this point, but it'll reduce, and then we'll add the thickener. It should be fine, and then we'll have boar's head hot dogs for dinner with the Sabrett sauce on it, and 1/4 cup of white vinegar. Give it some tang. Okay, let's set our stopwatch and let that go for a while, and we'll see how it turns out. That smells like a sweet and sour sauce. Okay, let that go for an hour. It's reduced down quite a bit, and the onions are nice and tender. So I've taken a tablespoon of cornstarch and added a little bit of water, to just enough to kind of make it into, to thin it. So let's add that to the sauce. And you want to stir this continuously while you add this. It's looking good. Drop the bowl there. Okay, I'm going to bring the heat up on this because you want to bring it back up to a boil, because it really won't come to its full thickness until you boil it. Looks good. Smells good. Kind of a sweet and sour, spicy. Should be good on hot dogs. We'll see later. Okay, here we have a couple of boar's head, all beef, natural casing hot dogs with the onion sauce and some spicy brown mustard. They were really, really good. I love that sauce. Here we got some Wise all natural potato chips. Great dinner.